Yo, what's going on? It's me, Jay. Here to talk a little bit about the first rally that Kamala Harris has done. Her first rally since announcing that she was going to take Joe Biden's place in the 2024 election and run against Donald Trump. And here are some of my thoughts on the rally. Um, I liked it, man. It had a lot of hey Lisa, what's going on? And a lot of solid energy. Megan the Stallion performed Savage, and I believe that's called the song Mumushi Body, some kind of body song that was about basically female empowerment and what is at the cusp of this election, which I think for female voters, women voters, is going to be the number one issue, and that is female reproductive rights. I believe this is going to be something that is going to define this election. And if Kamala Harris becomes the uh, the 47th president of the United States, that history books will say that is the reason, because she galvanized the female vote. Because a lot of women are afraid that if Donald Trump were to get elected, of course, he would appoint more conservative judges to the Supreme Court, which would eventually lead to a law being passed banning uh, banning a woman's right to choose in all 50 states. And if anything will get out women to vote, it'd be this. But as far as like the use of entertainers to galvanize voters, it's about time the Democrats started doing this. I mean, Trump has been doing this. Lisa and I spoke about it in our last video. Trump has been doing this since he started running in 2016. You saw at the Republican National Convention, he brought out Hulk Hogan, he brought out Kid Rock, he brought out Roseanne, his supporters. So it's good that Kamala Harris is firing back and bringing out some of hers. You know, people that support her, especially Megan Thee Stallion. She also quoted Quavo. In the interview, she said that she accused Donald Trump of not being as strong on the border as he says he is. Because just as she's going in deep with women's reproductive rights, Trump, his main tactic of attack against Kamala Harris is the border, the weakness of the border. But she actually went a step further in this, and she was like, "No, you're the one that you." She quoted Quavo of the Migos. She was like, "You know, he walks the walk. I mean, he talks the talk, but he don't walk the walk." Basically saying, "No, you're the one that's weak at the border. You have 40 years while you was the head man in charge, the president, and we still had, you know, a migrant crisis." I mean, 29, and she's right. 2019, when he was the president, a bunch of migrants were coming across the border. I remember seeing that picture. And of course, that was one of the main causes, the main issues that prompted the 2019 Walmart shooting, which we covered on this channel at that time. So Trump wasn't great on the border either. You know what I mean? So for him to say, well, Kamala Harris, her main weakness is the border, that's bullshit, because he wasn't great at the border either. You know, I mean, he had 4 years. She hasn't been in charge yet. She is in charge. She's supposed to be the border czar, granted, under the Biden administration, but she doesn't really have the real power yet. So Overall, I felt it was a good performance by Megan the Stallion. So, some people were commenting during the live that it's crass the things that she's talking about. She's talking about, but I mean, come on, you got to appeal to younger voters somehow. You know what I mean? This is her strategy to appeal to younger voters. Now, Lisa, what was your opinion of it? What did you think of it, Lisa? Um, okay, yeah, Lisa is busy, but we're gonna move on to another topic that is kind of related to this. Donald Trump also did an interview with three African American reporters, I believe, for the African American Press Corps or Press Association, in which pardon me, guys, getting something to drink. Yeah, Lisa, I'm back too. I went to get something to drink. Yeah. So my Lisa's back now. I'm back too. So we were talking about uh, what is Lisa's thoughts on the Kamala Harris rally that she just had. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great way to appeal to young people. I like the energy of her crowd. It was in Atlanta, Georgia. A lot of people were saying that, okay, all right, Lisa's coming in with a contrary opinion. I was going to mention that, but I feel like it's better for a woman to mention it because this, like I said, this. This election, guys, is going to be women's issues and women's opinion for the first time ever. Keep in mind, women in this society, in this country, have only been voting since 1920 with the passage of the 19th Amendment. So that is only 104 years. And never before have women's issues been the center of an election. But obviously, with a woman so close to winning, winning uh, the the biggest office in the land, and people will say, well, Hillary was too, but okay, Hillary was too, but when Hillary was running in 2016, we we didn't have the overturn of Roe v. Wade, which happened in 2022. You know what I mean? We didn't have such a threat to women's reproductive rights. So women's rights weren't front and center here. So Lisa is saying that no one liked Megan the Stallion twerking at this event. But you got to understand, though, Lisa, Megan the Stallion twerks. That's what she does. You know what I mean? I know she could have been a little bit more respectful about it, but at the same time, you're not gonna hire Megan the Stallion and expect that she's not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? That's her thing. You know what I mean? So when you hire a certain celebrity and you know what they're about, you already know what it's going for. But I get your point. I feel like I was just gonna say that, Lisa. I feel like uh, Lisa says Meg's twerking isn't good for the other, because the other side gonna say that's the only thing that black women do. Exactly. Yep. They're gonna use this as ammunition. I feel like, see, I see Lisa's point, and I see a lot of other people's point. When Obama was running for president in 2008, Obama didn't have gangsters out there sagging their pants, right? He didn't have people out there doing the crip walk. He didn't have none of that street ratchetness on stage. He presented as a respectable, intelligent, articulate, charismatic black man. And I think that although Kamala wants to appeal to the youth, you got to remember that elections, the people that pay attention to politics primarily are older individuals. You know what I mean? That will be mostly turned off by that. So I get where Lisa's coming from, that they'll only use that as ammunition to belittle black women. Make it seem like, oh, look, she's ghetto, she's ratchet, she's unprofessional. Bad enough, they're already using the fact that she had the affair with Willie Brown as ammunition to get at her that she slept her way to the top. You don't want to be tagged with a thought label. You don't want to be tagged with that, she's a whole label. Because Trump will go after that. Because remember, Trump is a misogynist. So I see Lisa's point. Absolutely, I agree with it. Well, okay, Lisa says the people that can vote are over 18 and out of school for what youth? Okay, Lisa, good point. But I mean by youth, I'm talking about 18, 20, 20, 19, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 20, basically 18 to 25. 18 to 25. You know, and the politicians have been trying to do this for the longest. Remember when we were kids, Rock the Vote, MTV, Vote or Die with P. Diddy? They've been trying to appeal to get young people our age out to vote and excited about politics for the longest. But at the same time, you don't want to do that necessarily because it's fine to do that, but you want to like, and you know that twerking is a part of her act, of course. But you want to probably tell her to tone it down because, like Lisa's saying, the right is going to have a field day with this. You know, what I mean, they're already racist and sexist against her. This is what they're going to attack her on now. Yeah. Okay, I was going to bring that up, Lisa. Thank you. Quavo was there as well, and she spoke about gun violence. And Lisa thought and I did too. I think that's good because Quavo's son, Quavo's brother, Takeoff of the Migos, passed away due to gun violence. You know, but again, with that, people will say, well, watch, and this is going to happen too. People will say, well, they'll start dissecting his lyrics and they'll say, well, his lyrics have a lot of violence in them, gangster rap, gun references. And I don't know if his lyrics have any of that, but I'm just saying, if they do, I don't listen to the Migos, so I don't know. But if they do have some of that, the Republicans will get on that and say, well, she's bringing up a rapper, and she's talking about how the rapper's brother lost his life to gun violence, but at the same time, look at the stuff he puts out there. Look at the energy he puts out there. You know, so it's a double-edged sword, guys. Inviting rappers and people from the entertainment industry um, on your platform to speak about politics because they already hold these racist stereotypes towards uh, African Americans, and they're going to use these celebrities to say, well, these celebrities perpetuate things like violence in the community or single motherhood or ratchetness or whatever, you know, and it's hard to combat against it because I mean, you listen to the lyrics of some of these rap records, and they do promote that. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say that they don't. It's hard to say, well, oh no, they're just being racist. I mean, look at these other examples. But you can, yeah. I mean, that's a good point too. Yeah, good reason says people. People are saying that we shouldn't be upset that she brought Meg Thee Stallion up there because Trump brought wrestling people up to his rally. It wasn't just his rally; it was the Republican National Convention. See, that's the difference. This was not the Democratic National Convention. This was not the official celebration of Kamala Harris being named, or Kamala Harris, pardon me, being named the uh, the nominee for the Democrats. This was just her first campaign rally. You know what I mean? And she saw that the effect that Trump bringing out Hulk Hogan had, bringing out, like I said in the beginning of the video, Trump has been doing this since 2016. He's brought out every single celebrity on the right wing to support him. Roseanne Barr, a racist. Hulk Hogan, a racist. Kid Rock, another racist. You know, Amber Rose. If you're going to talk about Megan Thee Stallion, let's talk about Amber Rose. You know what I mean? Like, uh, you know, if 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 your example of wholesome womanhood is Amber Rose, I don't want to ever hear you talk bad about Meg Thee Stallion and how she appeals to quote unquote thoughts, because you got the queen of all thoughts on your platform at your convention speaking, and that is Amber Rose. Case closed. At his convention and his rally, Lisa's correct. He had three people, three, count them, that were accused of rape. Two that were canceled because of racism. Uh, Roseanne in 2018 and Hulk Hogan in 2015. And Kid Rock, who goes up there and has been going up there for years now with a Confederate flag and actually defends the Confederate flag and says racist bullshit, has been saying racist bullshit for the last 20 years. So you have three racists and you have a reformed thought that's not even really all that reformed. So that was that was her counter to the celebrity fest of Donald Trump, and they did pretty good. But again, black candidates are held to a different standard. What I mean by that is, unfortunately, because the way racism works in this country, white candidates like Donald Trump can get away with doing and saying ratchet, ghetto, low class BS and involving low class B level celebrities at his rallies in a way that Kamala Harris cannot. Kamala Harris has to, because of the way that racism works in this country, put on a face of uber professionalism. And Donald Trump could go out there and be a complete asshole and still get elected, whereas Kamala Harris cannot be a complete asshole and cannot even come close to being considered ratchet, as it were, quote unquote, without the media turning this into a circus. Because I watch a Republican guy right now that I watch, Ramsey Paul, on here on YouTube. I watched his live reaction to the RNC. He loved the Hulk Hogan thing. He ate it up, right? But he hated Megan Thee Stallion coming out twerking. And what difference is that? Doesn't WWE, doesn't the UFC promote violence? You know what I mean? Doesn't Amber Rose promote uber sexuality among women, promiscuity among women? Yes. So if you're going to say, well, Quavo promotes violence, well, so does professional wrestling. It's built on violence, right? More people have died in the ring because of professional wrestling than have died in the rap game ever because of drug use uh, and violence. So spare me that. And okay, we saying when they go low, we go high. Michelle Obama said, but okay, when they go low, we go high. We said, is not a reference to whoever said that misunderstood what Michelle Obama meant. It's not a reference to um, high culture versus low culture, ratchetness versus sophistication. Okay, in reality, Amber Rose is ratchet. In reality, Kid Rock is ratchet. Uh, Hulk Hogan and WWE is ratchet and low class. Meg Thee Stallion is ratchet and low class, and Quavo is ratchet and low class. They're all ratchet and low class, right? It appeals to the lowest common denominator of their music, and I love hip hop and I love wrestling, and I used to like the Roseanne show, but they all appeal to the lowest common denominator of society. Their audiences are lower class individuals with less education. I mean, let's just be real. So, with that said, um, it's not talking about that, Lisa. It's talking about insults. Insults. Michelle Obama was saying that when they insult us with these insults, we have to take our side should take the high road and not insult them back with insults. It's not talking about low culture versus high culture because I mean, let's just be real. On both sides, if Donald Trump, which he never would because he's a low class person himself, but if he did, if both sides brought out classical music performers as their entertainment and things that were above the understanding of the average individual, black or white in this country, or Hispanic or any other race, if they did that, you know how many people would pay attention to politics? Almost none, because they would feel like it's something above their understanding, or something above their experience. So they bring out these people in order to get the average individual into political discussions. Now, is that a good thing? Well, the founding fathers of the United States would say no, that is not a good thing, because remember when they designed the country, they designed it only for land holding white men. You know what I mean? Even poor whites were excluded. And of course, African Americans and women and others, young people were excluded. Everybody was basically excluded except the higher classes of Caucasian males. You had to have money to own land, even like back then, like today. And if you had money, it meant that you were highly educated. The founding fathers were highly educated men, college educated, probably listened to classical music, didn't listen to the folk music that the regular people, at that time were listening to. They would consider somebody like Trump an insult. Somebody like they, um, Thomas Jefferson was still alive when Andrew Jackson became the president, and he considered Andrew Jackson low class and of low morality because Andrew Jackson was born poor, and Andrew Jackson appealed to poor whites, particularly those of Scotch Irish descent. You know, he had a party on the White House lawn when he won the presidency in the 1820s. You know what I mean? So the founders of the United States would consider all of that an insult to the political process. But in actuality, if that were the case, if they were to still have that mentality and say they took away gender restrictions, they took away racial restrictions, if they still had that mentality, still you take away the gender and the race, and you just say, okay, people at this certain educational level, or people of this certain ilk, the high class people that don't listen to rap or don't watch wrestling or don't watch sitcoms that are centered around white trash, excuse the expression, family, like the Connors, right? If it was everybody that was like that, and the only sitcom they were allowed to watch was Frasier, and the only sport they were allowed to watch was golf or tennis or some other high class sport, right? And the only music they were listening to was like Mozart and Beethoven. Nobody would watch it because the vast majority of people in America and in the world, quite honestly, don't like that stuff. They don't like that stuff because they can't relate to it. It doesn't appeal to them. It's considered too highbrow. So to answer Lisa's question, no, it's not a going low. We go high when they go low. It's not the same thing as what they're talking about. Having Megan Thee Stallion in there is not going low. It's an attempt to appeal to a younger female demographic that is more likely to vote for Kamala Harris, and that's black women or women of color or even younger women that are whiter and into hip hop. That's about. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with what whosoever saying that is wrong. You know what I mean? Like she's talking about insults. But even with the insults, okay, why not insult Donald? Why not? You know what I mean? Like, listen, everybody, including his Republican opponents in 2016 in the primaries, they tried to go high with Trump and it failed. You know, you got to be fire with fire. That they go low, we go high thing, that's out the window. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to win you an election. Not against Trump. You got to fight fire with fire. You can't show up. You can't be the guy that shows to put a knife to a gunfight because you'll be dead. You know, and that's exactly what happened to all of Trump's opponents in 2016. They ended up dead because Democrats were unwilling to take it to Trump on his own level. You know, we'll be professional. We'll be the Obamas and the Mitt Romneys and even the Obamas and the McCains, right? And we'll have the class that we'll have if that's what he wants to do. But if that's not what he wants to do, then we have to fight him on his own level, his own way. If he wants to play dirty, let's play dirty. You know what I mean? Why not? You know what I mean? If he wants to sling mud, let's sling mud. You know what I mean? Let's go at him on his own turf. The reason why Democrats lose all the time is because they try to be too polite. You know, they try to take the high road all the time, but you can't take the high road all the time. Listen, the Republican Party, one thing you can say about them, they might not be great at governing the country, but they're great at winning elections. And let me tell you why. Because they're able to make the average individual, the average person, feel connected to them in ways that the Democrats are not. People hate the Democrats because they feel like the Democrats look down on them. They feel like the Democrats talk down to them. They feel like they can't relate to the Democrats. The Democrats' voter constituency is made up of college educated people who feel like they're better than the people that are voting for, are electing them or putting them into office. And people don't like it when you speak down to them. People don't like it when you think you're better than them. When you think that, your number twos don't stink. Basically your shit doesn't stink. People hate that. You know what I'm saying? Like the smart kid in class that's the teacher's pet. Everybody hates that guy or that girl because he or she thinks that they're better just because they're a little smarter. They went to a better college. And that's how people view Democrats. And that's why Democrats lose. They lose more elections than they win. And those that win elections, those that have won elections, at least since 1980, since the Reagan Revolution of 1980, have been those Democrats like Barack Obama, like Bill Clinton, that can connect with people on a real level. Now, Joe Biden, okay, people will say, well, he was like that too. But Joe Biden, his election in 2020 was unique because of the COVID situation. Had the COVID situation not happened, I don't think Joe Biden would have won the election in 2020. That's the thing. Because, again, there's a disconnect. People were like, oh, well, this guy's been in politics his whole life, right? He's a Washington insider. Nobody wants to deal with somebody that's been in politics their whole life because people blame politicians for their problems. That's why they like Donald Trump, because he was an outsider and he appealed to the outsider ethos, right? But and that's always been the problem with, like I said, with Democrats in my lifetime. I wasn't alive for FDR. I wasn't alive for Truman. give him hell to Terry Truman. But in my lifetime, since the Reagan Revolution, of course, happened in 1980, all the Democrats that have lost elections have been that. They've all been these coastal elites, these people from the East Coast or California that speak down to the average American. You know, they've been the John Kerrys of the world, the Michael Dukakis of the world, the Walter Mondales of the world. you know, these people that think they're better than the average middle American, and people don't like that. You know what I'm saying? People like somebody that they feel like they could relate to, and that's always been the Democrats' problem, in my opinion. Another problem with the Democrats is that whole mentality of they go high, we go low. The idea that Democrats don't want to confront their opposition, they don't want to stick up for themselves, that they are soft, that they're willing to back down and to cower in the face of Republicans, whereas Republicans are not willing to do that. Republicans don't compromise. They never compromise. They always take you head on, and they always get what they want because they have that attitude. They want a war, they'll get that war. They want Roe v. Wade overturned, they'll get that. They want a certain person elected, they will get that if it's not a huge crisis. You know what I mean? Like COVID or the financial crisis of 2008, which or the recession in 1992. Those are the times. Those times are the times the Democrats were elected in my lifetime, and the reason was because of severe economic and social calamity. But in normal times, people seem to go for Republicans because they like them better. Uh, Lisa says they should have Beyonce there instead of Meg. Um, Nah, I don't know about that. I mean, or somebody, or somebody from ATL. Meg is from Texas. Okay, yeah. So is Beyonce. uh, Beyonce again, Lisa. Having Beyonce. I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent, but again, having Beyonce is going to make the people don't like Beyonce. You know what I mean? They can't really feel like the middle American. A lot of people, Beyonce has a lot of haters. A lot of people feel like Beyonce feels like she's better than her audience. So having her doesn't help the Democrats in recovering their image of them thinking that they're better than everybody. Them having too big of an ego. Again, that's why I feel like they lose elections. They only win elections when something big happens. You know what I mean? A financial crisis, a pandemic, a recession. That's the only time, 3 times in my lifetime, besides re-elections. You know what I mean? Like the re-election of Clinton in 96 or the re-election of Obama in 2012. But just regular elections where somebody new, the only time Democrats have won in my lifetime, there was a recession, another recession, and a pandemic. Okay, Obama had Beyonce. But at that time, Lisa, Beyonce she was a bigger star, number one. And number two, she wasn't as controversial back then as she is now. And she was more liked. You know? Maybe she'll have, I mean, Beyonce has endorsed her, and so has Jay-Z. So maybe she'll have Beyonce in another rally. I don't know. You know what I mean? But Beyonce is a good choice, but at the same time, not a good choice. you know? Who would I think? Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar. Uh, he's popular right now. His lyrics are positive. His lyrics have a social message that appeals to the progressive wing of the Democratic Party. It may turn off a little, older establishment Democrats, but he has a social activist message to him that Megan Thee Stallion does not have. Now, Megan Thee Stallion can speak up on domestic violence and can speak up on gun violence because of what happened to her as a result of her relationship. Right. And that it pains me as the Drake fan to admit, but that song, it resonates with people. And it can be taken either way. It can be taken as they not like us because Drake is Canadian, but they're not like us with the Trump voters because they're mean and they're bullies and they're racist and they're xenophobic and they're sexist and misogynistic. It can be taken like that too. And think about it this way too. It appeals to Atlanta because Kendrick in the song drops references to the history of Atlanta, the exploitation of black people in Atlanta. So I mean that fits there. And listen, if she uses that song for her political campaign, that song will be ever etched in the memory of people, especially if she wins. Of course, if she were to use that, they're not like us to have. Oh yeah, Megan Thee Stallion is very smart. Yeah, I mean, I don't say she's not. So she's a very articulate young lady. Just be thankful she didn't use "Sexy Red." Put it that way. I mean, she didn't go as low as she could go. Everybody that's complaining about Meg Thee Stallion, honestly, fuck them, bro. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, those Democrats that are complaining about Meg Thee Stallion, fuck them. Because, I mean, I get what you're saying, Lisa, about the twerking. But really, in reality, if y'all thought this was bad, you must want to lose. I mean, you must really want to lose if you didn't like this performance and you thought it was too over the top. You must want to lose because, again, you're giving into social pressure of the Republicans. Fuck what they say. We, as Democrats, we're too busy worrying about what they say and how they feel. They don't worry about what we say and feel. They trample over the Democrats all day long. They've been doing it for decades now. They don't care, so why should we? You know what I'm saying? The conservatives don't care about how we feel. They do things despite us. We say it's low class. They say, so what? We say Hulk Hogan made a joke out of the RNC, which he did. They say, so what? We say, how can you use a guy like Kid Rock, who's an open racist and who flaunts the Confederate flag, a flag that is un-American because remember the Confederacy seceded from the Union and fought against the Union in the Civil War. And they say, so what? So it's time for us to say, you know what? So what? We don't care. You don't like it, don't watch it. Peace. And just be out and just do our thing. That's the way the Democrats have to start being. They can't give in to pressure. See, that's the problem with the Democrats. They always cave in. They always give in to pressure. They don't go full on with things. The Republicans start bitching, and the Democrats shrink into a corner and try to act like little good boys and girls. It's time to stop being little good boys and girls and start to say, you know what? We're not going to be apologetic anymore for the way we are and for the thoughts we have. We're not going to try to conform to your way. We're not going to let you dictate the narrative of this discussion. We're going to dictate the narrative of this discussion. If you don't like it, oh well, I don't care. You know what I mean? And the reaction of the Democratic voters, the ones that are criticizing Meg, well, listen, it's showing me that these Democratic voters are not really serious about winning this election. This is Donald Trump. Donald Trump. A guy that will insult you and insult your mother, and he's a master of insults. And he's a master of appealing to the common man, to the he said to him his own self, I love the poorly educated. What is he trying to say there? He loves the poorly educated. So okay, he's saying it's the Democrats, the millennials. Well, millennials complain about everything. Millennials are soft punks. Put it that way, okay? Millennials are soft punks. They complain about Eminem. They complain about Megan Thee Stallion twerking on stage at the Democratic National Convention. They complain about microaggressions. They complain about this. They complain about that. They're soft. You know, they might be my own age group, sure. I grew up as a millennial, but they're soft as hell. And Gen Z is even worse. You know, you can't be soft with Trump. You have to be hard with Trump. You have to fight fire with Trump if you plan on winning. Now, if you're just doing this for the fun of it, you don't plan on winning, fine. Do it his way. Play by his rules and see if you win. You know what I mean? Play by his rules and see if you win. He's in a no holds barred boxing match. He's in MMA, and you are in slap boxing. Okay, yeah, Lisa bring up a good point. Gen Z is the one complaining, but some millennials were complaining too that he made a song dissing people with disabilities. Apparently, I don't know, but whoever is complaining, whatever age group, ethnic group, or whomever, this is I need to brush up on my culture news. Yeah, I do. But I mean, whomever is complaining, the hell with them. Let them complain. This is what we're doing now. You know, what I mean, this is the direction that this campaign is going. Kamala needs to do this. Kamala needs to show that she has backbone, that she has a spine, that she's willing to fight fire with Trump because the debate is going to be rough. The debate is going to be crazy because Trump has already started attacking her. Trump has already started saying that she turned black. You know what I mean? This is a little off topic, but it's related to another topic. He did an interview with three African American reporters, and he says, "Oh, she used to say that she was completely Indian, and now she's saying that she's black. She turned black, according to him. This is her. This is the phrase that he used. Now, and the women there were like, "Excuse me, like." At least it's saying there might not be a debate. Yeah, because Trump doesn't want a debate her because he's racist, he's sexist, and he's afraid that something might slip out. I'm not talking about it completely, Lisa. I'm leaving it for another video. But I just wanted to, yeah, I am. Lisa's wait for the other video. I'm leaving that for the other video. But as far as this performance, she says she hates when I do that. Yeah, I'm leaving it for the other video. I just mentioned that one thing. As far as his performance, I loved it. They, they were in business suits, they're dancers. They were good dancers too, man. It was a really good performance. It had a lot of positive energy. Man. I just say that we've already seen what Trump can do. What he did wasn't great. She's a fresh face. She has new ideas. Maybe you don't like her because she was an attorney general or whatever, a prosecutor because of her record. I don't think she's perfect. I think there's a lot wrong with her. But she's workable, she's listenable, she's teachable. Okay, shaking their asses in business. So what though, Reese? I mean, really, they. I'm a rapper, right? Say I'm a rapper, right? And my lyrics are all about sex. And they invite me as a Democrat to go perform at at a rally or something. You know what my songs are about. You know what I do. So why get on me for doing something that if you wanted something else from somebody else, you should have talked to somebody else. It's like I say on this channel. People get mad because I do certain content or whatever. But listen, read the up top my description box what my channel is about. So we know what Megan Thee Stallion is about. So how can we get mad for Megan Thee Stallion just being herself, doing what she always does? How can you get mad at that? Oh, you get mad at Kamala. Maybe she should not the right choice. Maybe there's other choices. But maybe Megan Thee Stallion feels passionate about this as a woman. Because women's issues are at the forefront of this election, like they've never been in history. Because of Roe v. Wade being overturned. And also because of Trump's sexism. I mean, here we have a guy who told women that he grabs them in their pussy, and he's running against a woman. We have a criminal convicted of 34 felonies running against a prosecutor. Oh, they're mad at Kamala for picking Meg. Okay, but maybe it wasn't her. Maybe she never known what Megan Thee Stallion sings about. But it wasn't that bad, Lisa. It could have been worse. It could have been Sexy Red. In fact, I think Amber Rose is worse for the Republican side. Amber Rose is way worse because at least Megan Thee Stallion has talent. At least she makes good songs. What does Amber Rose do? A slut walk? You know what I mean? Really? Didn't Trump in 2018 to get the first step back passed? Wasn't that in collaboration with Kim Kardashian? Look how Kim Kardashian got famous. You know what I mean? So spare me with that. People that are going to get on their moral high ground. Oh, we shouldn't have done it. Megan Thee Stallion, she's bad. She's out there twerking. So what? Who cares? She's not telling anybody. It's just a dance. But y'all want to represent the moral high ground? Take the moral high ground when it comes to Trump and see how far that gets you. Because it ain't going to get you far. Believe me, he's not afraid He's not afraid to appeal to the lowest common denominator. He's done it already with Amber Rose. Megan Thee Stallion is twice the role model that Amber Rose is. Megan Thee Stallion is twice as smarter than Amber Rose. Twice as more talented. Immensely more talented. So they have Amber Rose, we have Megan Thee Stallion. So what? Peace, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell button. See you. My next video is coming out. Lisa, thank you for contributing. As always, Lisa's opinion on this particular election matters more, guys, because she's a woman. She's a woman of color, and her opinion is tantamount in this election because, again, the issues of women are at the forefront of this election more so than the issues of men, because we're dealing with a misogynist, we're dealing with a sexist, we're dealing with a person who is a serial abuser of women going against a woman. We're dealing with the issues of Roe v. Wade, the issues of women's reproductive rights at the forefront of this election. You know, they say it about every election. Oh, this is the most important election in history. And I really think since the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920, 104 years. In the 104 years since the passage of that amendment, this is the most important election in history for women. So everybody that has daughters, everybody that has female cousins, nieces, whatever, wives, whatever, mothers, grandmothers, should pay attention more to this election than any other election, just simply because of that. Peace.